Brand new season, brand new dawn for
Box.
and it's lights out and away we go.
Simply lovely. I was really enjoying that
Hello and welcome back to Box, where I am still playing catch up. And this week we are talking British Grand Prix. So let's get into it. McLaren are back, and I'd like to think that my presence at this particular Grand Prix had something to do with it. Because yes, I was fortunate enough to witness the resurgence of McLaren in person at the historic track that is Silverstone. And I cannot even begin to describe the atmosphere or feeling when they pulled out that performance this weekend. Seeing Lando lead his home race in person, I have never screamed so loud in my life. And I'm starting to tear up and getting chills just thinking about it. It was absolutely incredible. I actually think I may have blacked out for a second while I was watching it. But yes, Max had to come through and ruin it, and I was so mad at him. But it doesn't take away from the fact that both Lando and Oscar had their best performances of the season. And Lando with a podium at home, I loved everything. And OP with his highest Formula One finish, it's chills, actual chills. I cried so hard that day. I was a mess. I was so happy for them, and I still am so happy for them, and I really hope that they can replicate that every weekend in 2024, because God knows, as a papaya fan, I need it. But anyways, let's get into the breakdown, shall we? The team breakdown, that is, and not my mental breakdown on the day. Red Bull. The noise around Checo and his seat with Red Bull for the rest of the season and beyond has never been louder, given that he once again failed to get out of Q2 with a P15 start. I mean, this is the 5th week in a row that he's been knocked out in Q2. Max, however, he was out there crushing the dreams of every Brit and Lando and McLaren fan on the planet, snatching pole from him in the dying seconds of qualifying. Typical. I had some choice words to say about Max on the day. I was not happy. But nevertheless, it was a great lap. It was his 5th pole position in a row. Checo keeps forgetting that Q2 exists. Max keeps just snag and pole. Come Sunday, I'd like to believe that Max's win was in doubt for at least some of the race, and that Lando was in with a chance. And while Lando did lead for a while there, Max inevitably caught him and secured his 8th win of the season. Checo did make up some ground to finish in P6, but again, it's not what Red Bull want. It's not what they are after, especially with the capabilities of that car that Max keeps demonstrating time and time again. So he best start making some changes, especially if McLaren are going to be putting in more decent performances. He won't just be competing with Ferrari and Mercedes and Aston Martin. He's going to be competing with McLaren as well. On to Mercedes. It was the home race for the team and for both drivers this weekend, and the support was high, as well as the expectation to deliver. And the crowd loved every second of what they had to show this weekend. They did, however, probably want to get a little bit more out of qualifying. But both drivers did manage to make it through to Q3 for the first time since Canada, with Lewis in P7 and Georgie Boy in P6. Sunday saw both drivers progress through the grid, with Lewis bringing home the final podium position for P3 and George in P5. So, 2 Brits on the podium. You love to see it. One not far behind. Overall, great weekend that the team, I assume, would be happy with, given that both cars managed to finish the race. But the bar has been set low, and they successfully scored some decent points. Ferrari. Back-to-back double Q3 appearances for the Scuderia this weekend. Charlie Boy bringing it up in P4, and Chile right behind him in P5 in qualifying. You love to see it. But in typical Ferrari fashion, they went backwards faster than they went forwards, and both drivers lost a decent amount of positions, only just managing to stay within the points positions. Both drivers lost 5 places, Charles finishing the race in P9 and Carlos in P10. They went from having a decent and somewhat substantial points haul potential this weekend to 3 points. So that's disappointing to say the least. Aston Martin. Another team with a home race this weekend. I mean, their base is literally down the street. Fernando, again, keeping his Q3 quali streak alive, securing himself a P9 start. Lance once again knocked out in Q2 with a P12 start, but was still in the 5 points, so everything seemed to be going okay. Sunday seemed promising given their positioning on the grid, but as usual, the drivers went in 2 very different directions. Fernando managed to make up 2 places to finish with some points in P7. However, Lance went backwards 2 places and finished in P14. So probably a few mixed feelings, mixed opinions in the garage across the weekend. In my opinion, McLaren. I think we all know my thoughts on them this weekend. And since I went on a little rant about them at the beginning, I'm going to try to keep this one brief. The team seemingly had decent pace all weekend. Both drivers pulled out their best collective and individual qualifying performances. Lando managing to get his car on the front row with Max, and Oscar just behind him in P3. They maintained their pace on Sunday as well. Lando finishing in P2 for his first podium of the season, with Oscar narrowly missing out and coming in P4. Thank you, Lewis. But it was his best race finish of the season, and also his F1 career to date. So overall, I think a very positive weekend for the team that everyone was happy with. It's always nice to see another team and drivers taking it to Red Bull and Max. So here's to more papaya podiums. Alpine. They kept the status quo from last week's qualifying. Gasly taking up the reins for a second Q3 appearance in a row, securing himself a P10 start, while Esteban Ocon was knocked out in Q2, securing himself a P13 start. But it was just not their weekend. That is for sure. Both drivers are failing to finish the race due to mechanical issues. Overall, a weekend that I think the whole team are disappointed with and would be wanting to forget sooner rather than later. One might suggest working on the reliability. Anywho, Haas. Hulk once again outqualified K-Mag, securing himself a P11 spot, but breaking his run of Q3 appearances. K-Mag once again failed to get off the bottom row with a P19 start. Things didn't really improve for K-Mag, who also failed to finish the race, so fun times for him. Hulk also lost 2 positions to finish the race in P13. So again, another weekend where no points are scored and nothing really happened for them. That's exciting or worth talking about. Williams. Another team with a home race this weekend. Albon made his 3rd consecutive Q3 appearance, securing himself a P8 start for the race, while Logan secured his best qualifying position to date, making it out of Q1 and securing P14. So props to him. Things continued to look up for the team, with Alex securing some much needed points, finishing the race where he started in P8. Things also seemed to be looking up for Logan, who finished the race with his best result of the season to date in P11, narrowly missing out on the points. Positive signs for the American rookie this weekend, so hopefully he'll be able to build on this momentum and keep improving going forward. Great job for everyone. I think all the signs are pointing in the right direction. Alfa Romeo. Another weekend that I'm sure the drivers and the team would love to forget. Neither driver managed to get out of Q1, with Valtteri starting on the bottom of the grid in P20. And Zhou, although he managed to outqualify his teammate, it was not much better in P17. Both drivers managed to improve on their qualifying positions, but neither scored any points. Valtteri, he gained 8 places to finish in P12, while Zhou gained 2 for a P15 finish. And while they did improve, they didn't do enough. And I think they and the team really need to consider what's going on. Because, yeah. AlphaTauri. Again, both drivers failed to get out of Q1. Yuki again outqualifying his teammate with a P16, while Nick started in P18. Yuki didn't make any progress whatsoever, But he didn't lose any places, given that he maintained his P16 position throughout the race. Nick, however, did make progress thanks to the 3 retirements of the race, gaining a single position to finish in P17. And I mean, that race really was the nail in his coffin, considering he was then sacked by the team this week. So is anyone really surprised? I sure wasn't. But anyway, this has been my Austria recap. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave your thoughts, all of the fun things. And I will catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys.